spend more than an hour and a half on the road to get to work in the morning? Well, if the answer is yes, you are what is called a mega commuter, and many of you guys are making that trek from Snohomish into King County. Commuting is a way of life for Seattle area residents, but how many people actually drive into the city on a workday?
Just one of the many.
Well, a new report released Tuesday from the U.S. Census Bureau reported a staggering number of cars commuting into King County from Snohomish County. 116,000 to be exact. That number is among the highest in the country.
I would agree with that. I commute from Snohomish County, and like I say, it depends on where my job is, but it would be mostly into King County.
Well, I believe it. When I'm on the roads every day, they're pretty congested.
Which translates into a lot of car time.
Southbound I-5 into King County is slow every day, all day. It's no fun.
Thousands of drivers spend at least 90 minutes in the car or drive 50 miles each day. Those drivers are now being called mega commuters.
Just breathe deeply, try to be patient. We're all in the same boat.
That is some good advice. Well, the report says the average mega commuter is an older male who is married and has a high-paying job. Smooth sailing now on I-10 westbound between I-37 and Probant, now that that earlier accident has cleared.
Saw an incredible outpouring of support from first responders, service members, and just regular civilians. They jumped into action, offering any help they could, showing that through every act of terror, heroes emerge. Instead of running to the finish line, this is the moment when thousands of people began running for their lives. And then there were those who ran straight towards the chaos.
That's what Americans do. In times of crisis, we come together and we help one another. Moments like these, terrible as they are, don't show our weakness, they show our strength. This morning, they are being hailed as heroes. Carlos Arredondo and his wife were in the VIP section passing out American flags for U.S. soldiers when the bomb exploded right in front of them.
My first instinct was to just run across the street and start helping out the people.
He sprang into action, stopping the bleeding of an injured bystander who lost both his legs. He never left his side, holding his hand until help arrived. And here is former New England Patriot Joe Andruzzi, who was there in support of his cancer foundation, carrying an injured woman to safety. And Army veteran Bruce Mendelson was blocks away from the explosion. He said he was knocked out of his seat, but then got up and headed towards the scene.
I was with my brother who had just finished the marathon, and I yelled at him to get all the people back away from the windows. There were blood smears on the sidewalk. There were people injured with a lot of grievous lower body injuries. I tried to render what medical assistance I could. I tried to help the Boston PD, which was on the scene.
And there were stories of bravery. One witness tweeting this picture, dozens of ambulances lining the streets with the caption, "This is what a hero looks like." Another man tweeting, "My boss's brother was at the Boston Marathon and he carried a 5-year-old who had lost her legs 5 blocks to an ambulance. #hero." So, Peggy, this morning we are reminded that when tragedy calls, there are always people who will answer without fear.
It's July 23rd, 2014, otherwise known as National Hot Dog Day. If you're going to take part in this yummy but unofficial holiday, we have some tips for you. Forget the boring ketchup and mustard. We've compiled a slideshow on KENS5.com illustrating the top 10 most outrageous hot dog toppings of the past year. Cruise season is right around the corner. With more than 200 sailings leaving Seattle last year, it's become an integral part of our local economy. But what are your rights if your trip turns sour? One senator says he may have an answer. It's hard to shake the images we saw last month coming out of Carnival cruise ship Triumph's ill-fated voyage. No power, overflowing toilets, trapped for 8 days. Now there's been a new wave of problems on several Carnival cruise ships in the Caribbean, ships there crippled by various mechanical issues.
Here in Seattle, the cruise industry is a vital part of the local economy. The Port of Seattle estimates that each time a home port ship docks here, it contributes $2.1 million to our area. And the 2012 season created more than 4,300 jobs. A representative with TMA Travel in Seattle says the recent incidents on Carnival will not cripple cruise bookings in the Puget Sound area. He says first-time cruisers will be put off, but ultimately the cruise market will recover.
I really don't want to get stranded out in the middle of the ocean.
To ease future passenger worries, one U.S. senator is calling on the cruise industry to voluntarily implement a passenger Bill of Rights.
Ships are stranded offshore, they don't have power, they don't have sanitary facilities, and thousands of families who hoped they would enjoy a great cruise have been stuck.
Among the 6 guarantees being considered, a right to full refunds and be able to leave the ship if the problems can't be repaired in a reasonable amount of time. However, nearly all ships are registered in other countries, not the U.S., even though most of those companies are headquartered here. That's why it would most likely be difficult to put a mandatory Bill of Rights in place.
Senator Schumer says the Bill of Rights could be similar to one for the airline industry that was crafted a couple of years ago. Cowboy fans are against the idea. Others are open to San Antonio being the new home of the Raiders. Our Facebook friend JJ Gonzalez says, I would support our local team, but still cheer for the Cowboys quietly. Sarah Jimenez says, remain a Cowboys fan. And it's the best of both worlds for our viewer Isabel Salazar, who says, quote, I love the Cowboys and have been a Raiders fan as well for 10 years. So bring it, Raider Nation. Well, let us know what you think. You can join the conversation by leaving a comment on our Facebook page. In the KENS 5 Digital Center, I'm Danielle Saar.